So, in case it isn't obvious, I have a massive storage and organization problem. I am in a small bedroom. It is about 11 by 10 feet. So yeah, there's a lot of things, and nothing's in a good spot right now, so we gotta figure something out. One thing about this desk is, it's got a decent work surface, but it's not a great surface to be doing some like rough, dirty projects on. So that means I need a workbench. I've been kicking around some ideas, but what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this into the closet, and in its place is going to go a floor-to-ceiling workbench and shelf. Yeah, so I'm gonna make some room in the closet, and we'll see where that gets us in a little bit. Alright, closet situation mostly figured out. Got the drawers, just enough clearance to open up. Can still access my clothes over there. Gonna have to very quickly get a curtain rod to cover up all this mess. So just a quick update, I did get a curtain installed in front of the closet. Looks like it can get caught a little bit. Poor choice of curtain rod. Hopefully that'll also help with sound treatment for, recording in the future. This is a space we're lurking with. Right in the corner here, you can see my nightstand. Ideally, I want to keep that. So I think we're gonna aim for 4 foot wide. Got about 2 inches of clearance between the edge of the nightstand and the edge of this trim. Yeah, so 4 foot wide will come out 2 feet probably, roughly. Just perfect here. So I'm thinking about we'll do a 2 foot by 4 foot work surface, and then from there I want to have, at least a tier or 2 of shelves. Probably leave enough clearance for one of these bins. Another requirement is going to be to get this vacuum, little rigid guy. I'm going to try to get that underneath the work surface. That way we can, anytime we're making a mess, we can just have that always plugged in, ready to go. And we're going to try to just build this out of really basic materials. 1 sheet of plywood and 2x4s, and I don't have a planer or a jointer or anything like that, so it's going to be pretty basic, probably just some screw construction. Just as I was saying that, I figured now is a great time to tell you which tools I'm working with. I'm not buying any new tools for this project. Maybe I'm lying. I did pick up a bunch of clamps for 25 bucks. I got 15, 20 clamps for $25. Great deal. Then I've got... That was loud. Then I've got a circular saw, probably just a circular saw. This is my only cutting device. My parents got me for Christmas, I think a year or 2 ago. This will be the first project I'm not going to use it for, though, so that's exciting. Also picked up this sander a while ago, so I'll probably, give everything nice sand down, but otherwise that's the only surface treatment we're going to do. So yeah, other than that, we got the drill and the impact gun, but otherwise just tape measure, and yeah, we're ready to make do. Still looks like a bomb went off in here, by the way. We'll start with just our 48-inch wide. We're not going to have actual scale here. This will be our little bit of our sheet of plywood that's going to be on the top of the work surface. Then we know we'll need a 2x4 going across the bottom to reinforce it. Of course, this will have some depth to it. Gonna go ahead and give it that. Give these, okay. Let's just say around a 30-inch leg height. So we'll go ahead and it'll probably be either a doubled up 2x4 or a 4x4. I'm not really sure which, and I don't really want to go with 4x4s if I'm gonna have to buy more than one, because I just won't feasibly have a use for whatever the offcuts are. One idea I did have is we could have 4x4s on the front legs, perhaps. The back legs could maybe be a doubled up 2x4, because we are going to have a shelf that goes up the top, like we said. So we'll have a shelf starting in the back of the corner. It's gonna go all the way up. So we know that this is 24 inches right here. I don't want the shelf to be that deep, so I'm thinking we go somewhere between 18 and 16 in this gap right here. And we'll bring our another 4x4 all the way up or something. Get this going. Wow, this is probably could have been done better, but I think it does. It gets the point across. And then, of course, we know we want some other shelving up top here somewhere. Probably 2 shelves. A top shelf for the bins. So these are bins. And then a secondary shelf where maybe we have more tool storage. I hope you guys liked that little side-by-side view there on the right side. That was me planning out real time on pen and paper. And then, of course, on the left, we had the accelerated view of me 3D modeling what I came up with. But now what you're seeing is me going through that 3D model and measuring all the different lengths of wood, and creating an accurate tally. That way I can use one as a cut list, but honestly, more importantly, so that I can go and buy the correct amount of wood once we get to the store. Alright, I think I have all of our cuts here. The naming is not that great. I think the quantity is correct. Let's go. I'm going to quickly count up exactly how many components there are, and then I'll count on the model how many components there are, and that's how I'll know if I missed anything. Alright, well, I did my math. It might be wrong. Whatever measurements I have here, of course, I'm going to try to be more meticulous once I start actually cutting. But yeah, I think I had to buy 9 2x4s. That's probably going to leave us with a decent amount of offcuts, but I think that's okay because I have some other ideas of things we're going to want to do. And you know what? In that case, let's make it even 10. Our stuff, 50 buckaroons. Here we go. Nice sheet. I need 10 of these bad boys. Here I'm picking up each of the different boards and I'm just looking down their length to make sure they're not bent or twisted. This is construction grade lumber, so it's not usually the best quality. And even though we're just making a workbench, it doesn't hurt to make sure it's at least as nice as possible. Am I able to check out here? How well this fits. Right up there. Oh, perfect. These will fit just fine. Again, I hope this shot turns out good. I have not used these in a hot minute. First, second, go ahead. Alright, spread the legs. Grab my pencil that I purchased. I already lost it. Yeah, this is by far the most awkward part, just being in the parking lot and cars just driving by, being like, what the hell is this guy doing? But from what I understand, it's pretty normal for people to be doing carpentry in the Home Depot parking lot. So, measuring from my factory edge out 24 inches, I use my speed square. Let's go ahead and give a mark on the start of that line. You know, now that I think about it, maybe I should make the tabletop be the second cut. That way I can have more control over it. I think that's a good idea. This will be our first cut, and this is good because this will be our practice cut. Alright, let's try this from the top. I don't have a track saw. This is just a circular saw. I do have this level, which I can use as a straight edge. The goal is to use this straight edge offset just a little bit so that I can guide the saw along its length, and effectively I'm using a straight edge, I should get a perfectly straight cut. So how I'm going to accomplish that is I'm going to mark off from each end. First, I measured over 18 inches, I know that's where I want my blade to be. From there, I check where the blade is, and I see where the edge of the blade tray thing, or whatever you want to call that is, and that's where I just marked now. I'm using the speed square, and we're going to move the level to be in line with that perfectly on this side, and of course I'm going to go double check from the other side as well. And once the level is in its perfect place, that's what these clamps are for. We'll clamp it down in place so that we can't screw it up, hopefully. Alright, here is the moment of truth. I don't have proper safety glasses. I'm using sunglasses. We'll have to make it work. Blade depth is set. Straight edge is down. I'm going to check one more time before I actually start the saw that my blade is right where I want it. Yep, just on the inside of that line. But now, we go. I hope this doesn't fall on me. The moment when bro doesn't know how to use his saw. you know. So that's pretty good. Let's double check that I got the measurements right. This should be 18 inches. 18 inches. Ooh, little off, little off. All right, that's okay. This is a shelf, and we'll get it better for next time. You know, I'd say overall that worked pretty good. You can try to refine the technique a little better. Should move this. We should be ready for our second cut. Check how we did. Perfect on that end. Still a little off on this end. Right now I'm thinking about if I should move the sawhorses. Do I want everything to come crashing down in the middle? And it'll probably look funny on video. Let's do it. Last cut. There it goes. Just as planned. Alright, gang. And with that, we have our widest piece of the board left, 3 foot wide. And it slides right into the car without a problem. That is a wild success. Let's finish cleaning up and get the frick out of here. I hope anybody watching, both online and whoever just witnessed that in person, had a good time. Alright, I think that was a wild success. Last through the trunk before I close it. Let's put that one back. Okay, time to look like a doofus again. So now I get to look like a doofus right outside my own apartment. So while I was just watching the footage of the sawing, I noticed that the one sawhorse was never fully locked, which is probably why it collapsed. So I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna quickly take the plywood out, just stack it against the wall, and then I want to hit the all 2x4s with an initial sanding, probably just something like 80 grit. Just try to get a little bit smoother, hopefully less likely to give me a splinter. Somewhere along the way, I feel like I must have miscounted how many 2x4s I need because I have exactly enough, and I thought I would have had extra. I should have 26 total cuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 25, 26. Alright, I guess I just somehow miscounted my 2x4 somewhere, but it's worked out, obviously. I got just enough. Alright, and you know what? In that case, let's make it an even 10. Alright, done cutting. Let's clean this up. Might bring the lumber inside, might get started building inside. We'll find out. Gonna start assembling the work surface and then the shelves with these 2.5-inch screws. Let's get going. Alright, the frames for the workbench and the shelves are finished up. Now it's time to start laying out the front legs, and we're going to start getting these screwed together. Let's gonna hold them plenty fine. Let's do it. And now for the back legs. That is the last screw of the living room. Alright, we're gonna use this 3/8 lag bolt to attach the legs. And because it's a pretty big diameter, we're gonna drill it. We're gonna do 2 per leg. So let's get this in the drill and get going. You know what? I don't have washers for these. That's kind of a problem. I'm gonna have to go see if Home Depot's open and go around and get a washer. I am back with the washers. Alright, let's do this. Check our square. You wanna watch me do something stupid? This is not an impact socket. Watch me use it anyway. With our newly acquired washer and our lag bolt that does fit inside of it, we will drive this lag all the way in. That was quite effective. Oh, come on. That is... it's pretty good. Let's see if we tighten it. And coming in from off screen, we have a half-completed workbench! Alright, fair viewer. Oh, I didn't realize the frame was tilted this whole time. Whoops. Alright, y'all. I think I'm gonna call it a night for now. It's about 8:30. I don't want to keep pissing off the neighbors. Not that they've complained, but I just feel bad. But hey, we got an extra work surface now. Hopefully, we'll finish up the shelves tomorrow. Alright, see you guys. Alright, new day, new heyday shirt. We're gonna make a quick modification to the circular saw. So now, with that on there, we can hook the shop back up to the exhaust, and hopefully we'll catch a lot of that sawdust. I'm gonna go grab the board that we need to cut. We know the 2x4 is going to be taking up this corner. It's gonna be 1.5 inch out this way and 3 inch back this way. So let's see. Double check with the tape measure, because you know, measure twice, cut once. Oh, see, I'm dumb. I already screwed up. It's 3.5, not 3. No, that actually worked pretty good. I think for the next one I won't go over on that corner. Alright, let's go do that other corner. Let's finish this off with this one. Since we've already made it dusty in here, I'm thinking I'll give it a chance to sand. I know my desk is in an absolute state right now. I'm just counting up how many screws I have left, and I was counting how many we're gonna need, and it looks like we're about 3 short. So that means I'm gonna go to the back of the workbench and unscrew those. I think it was like 3 leftover screws that were there to steady the back legs before we put the lag bolts in. But now that the lags are there, I need those screws, and I don't want to go to Home Depot, so I'm gonna pull those out, and I think we'll have just enough to get this project done. Mm-hmm. Should have done this part in here, that's for sure. Okay. Alright, lower it. You know what's funny is after I did that, it's obvious that I probably should have done it in here. Alright, it's preliminarily secure. Preliminarily. But yeah, it's done. I'm sure there's more modifications I'm going to make later, and I'm going to reorganize and stuff like that, but pretty happy with that. I'm excited to keep going, and we'll see what else I make. See you guys. Thank you for watching.